Welcome to Learn Tagalog Lesson 1-4. My name is Alan, and I am the author of learn-tagalog.com. For more lessons like this, please visit learn-tagalog.com. In this lesson, we will take a look at the informal word for you. In previous lessons, we've been using the word kayo for you, which is the formal or plural version of you. Okay? We're also going to look at common words for spouse and friend. Then we'll learn how to introduce your spouse or friend. Previously, you learned how to do introductions as well in other lessons, but we'll do it with spouse and friend here. Another way to say my instead of co. And then finally, we'll wrap up with a new conversation that by now, if you've been following through with the preceding lessons, you should have no problem understanding fully. Okay? So let's get started. The informal word for you, let's review a little bit. How do you say, how are you, in a formal sense or to more than one person? Go ahead and try it. And listen.
Kumusta po kayo?
Okay, kumusta po kayo? Kayo there is the word you. Now, ka is the informal word for you. Listen and repeat.
Kumusta ka?
And again.
Kumusta ka?
Kumusta ka? Now notice that we did not use the word po in this one because po is used for it's a formal word, okay? And if you're using kayo, you're saying kumusta po kayo to somebody that is an elder or maybe a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. You will use po. But if you're just saying it to a friend, you'll simply say kumusta ka, or somebody that is your age, kumusta ka, okay? Listen again. Ask your friend, how are you? And listen.
Kumusta ka?
Kumusta ka? Okay? Now, here is the word for spouse or husband or wife. It's gender neutral, so it could be either a wife or husband. Or basically in English we would say spouse. Okay? Listen and repeat.
Asawa.
And again.
Asawa.
Okay. Let's say my spouse. Listen and repeat. Asawa ko. Asawa ko. Try to say, this is Karen, my wife. Now remember we were using my bahay before. We were saying, ito po si Karen, my bahay ko. Now substitute in the word asawa. Go ahead. Try to say, this is Karen, my wife. In this case, using asawa. And listen.
Ito po si Karen, asawa ko. Ito po si Karen, asawa ko.
Okay. Say, this is Carl, my husband. Again, you will use the word asawa. Try it.
Ito po si Carl, asawa ko.
And again.
Ito po si Carl, asawa ko.
Good. Say to you. Do you remember how to do that? Sa iyo. Sa iyo. Say, good noontime to you, Maria. Listen and repeat.
Magandang tanghali sa iyo, Maria.
And again.
Magandang tanghali sa iyo, Maria.
Good. Magandang tanghali sa iyo, Maria. We learned that in preceding lessons. Here is the word for friend. Listen and repeat.
Kaibigan.
And again.
Kaibigan.
Okay? Kaibigan. Notice the ka, then the e, bigan. Okay? Kaibigan. Sometimes you'll hear it quickly spoken and it sounds more like kaibigan. Kaibigan. Okay? Kaibigan. Now, say my friend. Just like you said asawa ko, instead of saying asawa, use kaibigan. Try it. Kaibigan ko. Kaibigan ko. Now say, this is Tom, my friend. Use po. Try it.
Ito po si Tom, kaibigan ko.
And again.
Ito po si Tom, kaibigan ko.
Good. This is Tom, my friend. Say, how are you? Use the informal word for you.
Kumusta ka?
Say, good morning to you, Pasita. How are you? You're going to use the informal word for you.
Magandang umaga sa iyo, Pasita. Kumusta ka?
Okay, the words are on the screen now. Go ahead and try it again. Good. Now we looked at magandang umaga before, early in the other lessons. Magandang umaga is good morning, then sa iyo, good morning to you. Pasita is the name, and kumusta ka? How are you?
Magandang umaga sa iyo, Pasita. Kumusta ka?
Say quite fine. Use the formal word. That means you're going to want po in there. Try it.
Mabuti po naman.
Okay. Say my spouse. Asawa ko. Asawa ko. Now say my friend. Kaibigan ko. Kaibigan ko. Jose is your friend. Therefore, we won't use po. Say to Jose, this is Alicia, my wife. And listen.
Ito si Alicia, asawa ko.
Try it again. And listen. Ito si Alicia, asawa ko. Here is another way to say, this is Alicia, my wife. Listen and repeat.
Ito si Alicia, aking asawa.
Okay? And let's listen and try again.
Ito si Alicia, aking asawa.
Aking asawa, my wife, or my spouse, or my husband. Aking asawa. Instead of saying asawa ko, we can say aking asawa. It also means my spouse or my wife, my husband. Okay? Listen to the following. Aking asawa, asawa ko. Aking asawa, asawa ko. Both mean my wife. Ito si Alicia, aking asawa. Ito si Alicia, aking asawa.
Ito si Alicia, aking asawa.
Ito si Alicia, asawa ko.
This is Alicia, my wife. Use aking. Try it.
Ito si Alicia, aking asawa. Ito si Alicia, aking asawa.
This is my wife, Alicia. 3 ways to say it. Listen. Ito ang asawa ko, si Alicia. Let's listen to the native speaker.
Ito ang asawa ko, si Alicia.
Okay, and the next one. Ito ang aking asawa, si Alicia. Listen to the native speaker.
Ito ang aking asawa, si Alicia.
Okay, And the last one, we use ito and ang, and we put them together into itong. Okay? Itong aking asawa. Listen.
Ito ang aking asawa, si Alicia.
Okay, you'll see that a lot, where the ang is combined with the preceding word. Okay, translate the following. Ito si Alicia, aking asawa. What does that mean? Okay, that meant this is Alicia, my wife. Now translate each of these. Ito ang asawa ko, si Alicia. Ito ang aking asawa, si Alicia. And itong aking asawa, si Alicia. They all mean this is, the first one is this is my wife, si Alicia, or this is my wife, Alicia. This is my wife, Alicia, and this is my wife, Alicia. Correct? Okay. The next 3 slides are review from previous sections of Lesson 1. You see Mr. Cruz on the street. Say good evening to you, Mr. Cruz.
Magandang gabi sa inyo, Ginoong Cruz.
Okay. What's the word for all?
Lahat.
Say good evening to you all.
Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat.
Mrs. Cruz greets you, good evening. Reply, good evening to Mrs. Cruz. How are you? And listen.
Magandang gabi po naman, Ginang Cruz. Kumusta po kayo?
She replies, quite fine, and you? Say it.
Mabuti po naman, at kayo?
Now say, Mrs. Cruz, this is Anne, my wife.
Ginang Cruz, ito po si Anne, may bahay ko.
Mrs. Cruz says, it is my pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Turner. Try it.
Ikinagagalak kong makilala kayo, Ginang Turner.
Okay, a review of Lesson 1-4's objectives. The informal word for you is ka, as in kumusta ka. Mabait ka, you are kind. Americano ka, you are American. The common words for spouse and friend, asawa and kaibigan. How to introduce your spouse or friend. We looked at ito si Tom, kaibigan ko. This is Tom, my friend. Ito si Alicia, asawa ko. This is Alicia, my wife. Ito po si Alicia, asawa ko. This is Alicia, my wife. Another way to say my instead of ko, aking, and then the nung sound, aking asawa, or aking kotse, for my car. Okay, we're almost finished with this lesson, so hang in there. We're going to listen to a new conversation that we haven't heard before, but from the previous lessons, and if you've been following along and practicing, you should have no problems understanding this conversation. Listen.
Magandang araw po, Ginang Turner.
Magandang araw sa iyo, Gloria. Kumusta ka?
Mabuti po naman. Ginang Turner, ito po si Rosa, kaibigan ko. Nagagalak po akong makilala kayo, Ginang Turner.
Kumusta ka, Rosa?
Okay, and we'll listen to it one more time.
Magandang araw po, Ginang Turner.
Magandang araw sa iyo, Gloria. Kumusta ka?
Mabuti po naman. Ginang Turner, ito po si Rosa, kaibigan ko. Nagagalak po akong makilala kayo, Ginang Turner.
Kumusta ka, Rosa?
Okay, this concludes Lesson 1-4, and this is the last section of Lesson 1. Hopefully you've been following along with the previous sections and feel quite confident in the material so far. If not, go back and listen to the videos again and again until you feel comfortable. Then you can move on to the next lesson and go on to Lesson 2 and learn more. Now, I do want you to visit learn-tagalog.com, where you can pick up a practice MP3 file and download it for free, and you'll be able to practice listening to the types of phrases that you learned in Lesson 1. Okay? See you there.